So, my favorite movie of all time, Star Wars. There's really no point in reviewing a movie when I start off the video saying it's my favorite of all time, because we all know what it's going to get. But you know, the more I rewatch this movie, the more I love it. This movie is just an utter masterpiece. I know some people would disagree with me on that, but that's just my opinion, so. This movie is one of the most iconic films of all time, one of the best sci-fi films of all time, and just one of, no, to me, it's the best film of all time, along with Empire. That's also the best movie ever. But hey, this is just my opinion. The Star Wars is just a space opera adventure movie. Very simple concept, displayed excellently. The combination of a perfect cast, crew, director for now, and composer, they managed to make the movie Star Wars. The movie is the story of Luke Skywalker becoming a Jedi, or that's the main point of the original franchise. This is the first entry. More like the film, this is the story of Luke Skywalker, a desert farm boy, finally finding his place in the galaxy and going on a great adventure. Along the way, he meets many, many memorable characters. There's Han Solo, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Chewbacca, Princess Leia. Talk about them. First, I'm going to talk more about Luke. Now, Luke Skywalker is played by Mark Hamill, one of the most iconic castings ever. Now, Mark Hamill, while he can be quite whiny playing as Luke at times, there are so many moments where he just fits the role completely perfectly. Some examples would be when he's saving Princess Leia, when he's putting down Han for abandoning the rebels, and of course, the binary sunset moment. The scene where Luke looks into the twin sunsets as the John Williams theme plays is my favorite moment in any movie ever. Just to play so perfectly how Luke wants to go out and have an adventure of his own. And of course, after that, there's Han Solo. Another character played by Harrison Ford who is recognizable to a T. It's just such the perfect Harrison Ford character. He's not as good as the character as he was in Empire, but he was certainly a great introduction to Han Solo. You see him have a small arc of becoming a guy who just wants money and paying off his debt, to a hero of the rebellion. Now there's Obi-Wan Kenobi, played by Alec Guinness, who plays the great mentor character. Too much to say here. Alec Guinness did a good job with what he had, even though it's proven that even though Alec Guinness said he didn't like the script, he did do as good as he could on this movie, and it really shows. Peter Mayhew is Chewbacca. Can't talk much about that. It was good. Now we're going to talk about Princess Leia, played by Carrie Fisher. May she rest in peace. Princess Leia is a good... Princess Leia, she's just a good female character. Princess Leia is just such an enjoyable character. She goes well as a leader in the rebellion, and even though she's not a damsel in distress for most of the movie, for a bit of it she is, and she does that really well as a character who's captured but doesn't want to say anything. The main problem with his character is that, spoilers, when Alderaan gets blowed up, she, doesn't react whatsoever. There's a tiny reaction, and then she immediately goes to comfort Luke after someone he knows for like an hour or two dies. She goes on, her character gets much better, but just like Han Solo, it's a good start. Peter Cushing's Grand Moff Tarkin was, a menacing character, didn't leave too much as an impact, but he was a good villain. Not the main villain, but a good secondary villain. He was enjoyable. Now we get to the real villain, Darth Vader, the most terrifying villain in film history. And I would say that's my opinion, but that's just subjective. Terrifying probably isn't the word. The word is probably more intimidating. Now that's the word for Darth Vader. Sitting tall in black armor, and just with his deep James Earl Jones voice, he's just so menacing. Of course, it was an amazing idea to cast James Earl Jones as the iconic voice of Darth Vader, because if you really listen to any of the test screenings of David Prowse doing the voice of Vader, he loses almost all terror. He just sounds like a guy from the South. Of course, this film did an amazing job with its best feature of adding so many interesting and cool alien species, starships, robots. Just so many interesting and original and creative ideas that even won a special award for it. The best scene showcasing this is, of course, the Cantina theme, where you're just looking, there's just so many diverse creatures, with none being similar except for humans. Tiny Batman, a guy that's literally Satan, or a guy in a bargain bin werewolf mask. It's just so diverse. The Cantina band is awesome. The final fight isn't as thrilling as some people says it is, but I, as usual, enjoyed it. Now, like many others, I'll agree the Obi-Wan vs. Vader fight is basically just two old guys poking sticks at each other. But the fight is meaningful as they're taunting each other, not really fighting. Such an iconic opening, and the opening crawl is such iconic and something that I love. As normally when I watch old movies, I get very confused as I try and understand the plot and what's happening. But this just jumps right in and explains what's happening, and I give it such deep respect for that. The score is so absolutely and amazingly iconic that you hear even one or two notes and you immediately know this is Star Wars. It just keeps up the thrill and majesty of the universe. I would definitely give this movie a 10 out of 10. No, probably an 11. No. This movie is just a visual and emotional and storytelling masterpiece. Now, I know I was just reading stating points here, so to say what I didn't like, the Vader and Obi-Wan fight, I didn't like. Luke's occasional whininess, I wasn't a big fan of. But other than that, I loved it. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. I'll see you next time. Make sure to like and subscribe. Goodbye.